chair for you on the other side.
Oh, look who's here. PJ Braun just walked in. Come on into the come on in here. I was just asking Guy where the future of the sport of bodybuilding is, and then you walked in on cue. So.
Coming off his win this weekend.
Yeah.
At least I didn't come to talk to a loser today.
Who would have thought? The last time the three of us were together was probably at my house in Seaford, Long Island.
Yeah.
My 40th birthday party. That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. That's when everyone was friends and loved each other. Now everyone's got their own business. PJ's owns Blackstone Labs. You're all over the world. The guy's still winning shows. Yeah. Everyone who came by my house back in the day, who was friends with you guys, everyone did well for themselves.
Yeah.
Like, Aaron, you drive like an old lady.
Yeah.
I know you do. What did you buy a Lamborghini for? Oh, I have other cars too. I'm like, you bought this just for bragging rights. You don't even like it. Like, if I had it, I'd be fucking blasting around.
Yeah, when we had the Lamborghini together.
Yeah.
I
know he drives like an old lady.
I took it back.
Yeah.
And when I took it back, I rolled it in and I bought the F12. And the F12 blows the Lamborghini.
Does it really?
And so I was so happy about it and I was so excited about it. And when I took him to drive it, he was like, huh? And I go, what do you mean, huh? And he goes, honestly, I don't drive them fast, so I can't tell the difference.
You're not a car.
I said, it's dramatically different. And he goes, I don't really care about going fast. I just want people to know that I have it. And then after a few weeks, he had tried to convince me that he wanted to go back to the Lamborghini because he said way less people noticed him in the Ferrari than Lamborghini. And I was like, no. And then in our split, I wound up buying that out from him because I didn't want him to Ferrari because I didn't want to give it back because
That's a sick car.
Love that car.
What did that car cost? That's got to be crazy.
Well, the Lamborghini was more. So the Ferrari at the time was $315,000.
Buy a house for that.
Yeah. That car is a collector's item.
Usually
red.
Ferrari owners want red Ferraris. And a lot of the black ones have that tan.
Yeah.
It's not called tan, it's a different name interior.
Your red interior?
Or there's red. Mine is all black. The inside's all black.
Oh, black and black.
Yeah. So there's only one of one.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, like when people were like,
you got pictures?
Yeah. They were like, just get rid of the Ferrari. I was like, no, I'll get rid of my house before.
So what do you have left?
He's still at his house.
No, the cars.
He's got that car.
I have my Z06 that I drive.
Oh, you have the Corvettes?
Yeah, that's what I drive, like my daily,
my
car. I had to sell the SLS. I loved that car. It was a nice car.
I didn't even know you had an SLS.
My SLS was awesome.
That is nice. That's Logan's little toy car that he.
And then what else?
I got Logan one of those.
I gave my dad the Hellcat.
Oh, you didn't sell it?
No, that car was Tristan Esco's car. I bought that.
Like that.
Did you really?
Yeah.
The Hellcat is what Helly Nielsen got. Yeah.
Where's my F12?
So that's it. Those are the vehicles you have left.
Really, my Ferrari is not even something that I've even driven in so long. This was it when they finally had gotten it driving for the first time with a twin turbo engine.
That's badass. Fucking nice. What's that red stuff on this? What?
They still haven't put the
side panel
back on because that's where they had to customize the oil cooler.
How many horsepower do you think it's going to be when it's done?
So they put it on the dyno for the first time,
right?
And he said at 5,000 RPMs, it was already running close to 900 horsepower.
Oh my god!
So it'll clear 1,000 easily.
Did you have to put bigger wheels on it?
They're customizing the wheels for it. So there's been so much customization done for that.
The only problem is if it breaks, who fixes it? Are these guys close to you?
Yeah. Very close.
As long as they're close to you, that's fine. Welcome back to RX Muscle in studio. We haven't done one of these in quite a while, but I saved it for a good one. I have my good friend from way back and the owner of Blackstone Labs, PJ Braun, in studio.
What's up, Dave? Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, no, it's about time. I've been here for 3 years now, and I've been saying, when is PJ going to come see me and see not just the RX Muscle Studios, but see my Reptile collection. We have that in common.
I'm definitely embarrassed that I haven't been down here too long, but I finally got here today, so.
Yeah, no, it's good. PJ actually bought 2 carpet pythons for me, so we're going to be showing those a little later. But, you know, I still want to see your collection, but I know your life's in flux, and we're going to talk all about that a little bit. What's in your collection now? What cool stuff do you have?
So I have a dozen different ball python morphs, and you know Josh, who I've gotten a bunch of them from.
I bought a couple of snakes from
JHB Reptiles, my buddy.
You know what the problem is? Josh used to be partners with another Josh.
Yes.
And I always confuse the 2 Joshes. And I never know which one I'm talking to, and when I text them, I intertwine them. And the other one's always like, you're talking to the wrong Josh.
A lot of people do that.
For the Reptile fans, we gave you guys fix. One of these days we'll go down and do a little video on PJ's place when he's all settled and back. And we're going to do some video later for my Muscle Serpents University, a YouTube channel. If you guys are interested in reptiles, you can subscribe to that channel. PJ and I will do a video a little later. Cool. But PJ, let's talk about bodybuilding because, you know, I know you from when you were, you know, in your early 20s and you were competing and you used to come down to my house with Evan Santapani and Guy Sisternino and we would pose in my living room and, you know, the good old days where we were all innocent and there was, you know, no one cared about anything other than going to the gym.
Yeah.
And you've come a long way. And I said to you all along, I said, you're going to be successful in this industry. I said, you'll never know what your level of success and where that will take you, but I said you're going to be successful, and obviously you were successful as a bodybuilder. You were a very popular contest prep coach for many years, making a lot of money in that, and it was hard, I would imagine, for you to leave that to go to the supplement end of it.
It was very hard, and I still do prep a couple of people that work for the company still. I'm just passionate about it. It was actually my old partner that got me to retire, Aaron. He had said to me, he goes, look, here's the deal. You're putting so much time into the coaching. And I believe that if you put that much time into Blackstone Labs, you'll make in a month what you can make in a year coaching. And it was really, really hard for me to do it because my whole thing, what I told him was, I said, I really believe that I am the best at what I do. I'm cranking out, I coached all women.
Yeah.
And, you know, outside of guys like Kimoto that had their factories, I mean, I was cranking out a lot of pros.
Right. And you were doing more like the physique girl
physique
stuff,
figure, yeah. So,
so this goes down. I have to imagine, because I know I was indicted, it's one of the most stressful things you can go through.
Super stressful. So I didn't know what was going to happen because you have all these ideas in your mind of how much of a criminal do they think that I am? Right?
Yeah, because it was like how many charges were there? Like 13?
A lot. Yeah. So I'm imagining myself, and I was losing sleep and stressed out over this.
Sure.
So I'm imagining them like showing up at my house, coming in with guns, and like taking me out, my girlfriend crying, and like telling her, you know, call my mom, call my attorney. And what actually wound up happening, it was actually
self-surrender.
Yeah, it was actually really smooth. The attorneys basically were like, "Listen, you're going to meet us at this time."
Right.
And it was a bit of a length before we got to that. That was probably a good couple months.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you knew you were going to be indicted.
Yeah. So waiting around for that was very stressful. Like, when's it going to be the day? When's it going to be a day? You know, is it going to be on a Friday?
So you knew that article was coming out? You knew that you were going to see a newspaper article soon enough?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. So waiting for all that was extremely stressful. Honestly, I was kind of relieved once we went in.
Oh, I'm sure.
No cuffs or anything. We just went in front of the judge. We're the first people to go. You go in, you do your little mug shots. Right. You know, then now it's fancy. It's not like what you see on TV.
No.
Now they don't
ink fingerprint.
They do the DNA swab now.
Right,
and
now you're in the system. You're in the system.
That's it.
You've proven that you have a very strong character, and that you know, while maybe they can knock you off the path a little bit, you're going to find your way back to the path. And I think you're going to be I said this to you early on, I say it again, you're going to be very successful, and you're just getting started.
You are the first person that ever did say anything like that to me.
I told PJ, I said, PJ, even if you don't turn pro, I said you're going to be a very successful in the industry. He thought it meant, you thought I meant you didn't have a good physique. But
yes.
What I was really saying is that I felt you had a lot of talent in you other than bodybuilding, and that it didn't matter what you did in bodybuilding because that was only a very small portion of who you were. Mm-hmm. So, all right, guys. Another edition of RX Muscle in Studio is now in the history books. I'm Dave Palumbo for PJ Braun. We'll see you next time.
Cool. Awesome.
Good interview.
Thank you.
You're right out there. Just see my
snake room 1.
Yep, I have snake room 1, 2, and 3. 1 is the cold room. These are the species I'm wintering. Mm-hmm. These are albino pythons.
Yep.
I can't get this girl to breed, but I think it's they never got her cold enough, so now I got her in 72 degrees.
Oh, that's
set you down to 70. But these are, they're spring breeders. So you freeze them for 8 weeks, 10 weeks. And then, same thing with the brettle python up here. If you look, it's a stonewash brettle.
Oh, I see it in the bag.
Yeah. And then supposedly, you warm them up after about 10 weeks of cooling them. You feed them and then you put them together.
So you have
they
not
breed.
bred any of these?
I've tried. I haven't. This is the only species I can't get to breed.
Interesting.
This owl python. And,
hopefully it'll
they're
work
really
here.
rare. No one has albino owl pythons in the United States. Very few people. So I'm working on that. And then the blue-tongued skinks. This is my new
Oh, the skinks.
I'm-
We have a girl, Kiki, that wants a...
Oh, really? I'm trying to produce...
Oh, cool.
So they're in what's called, I guess, brumation now.
Brumation,
I'm cooling them down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeding them. They just have water. That's it. And here's my albino.
Oh, cool. How cool is that?
Yeah. So they basically just don't move too much.
Yeah.
And then when you heat them up, also and you feed them, they want to breed.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I haven't
This is
gotten
the
to
time
breed
of the
yet.
year that most people put their tegus into brumation.
Yes,
too.
I haven't really been successful. Here's my hypo brettles python. That's
Oh,
the
cool.
male. That's the female up there. So
Up there.
I'm going to try. These are once again spring breeders. Most other pythons are winter breeders. So
Pretty.
yeah, very nice.
How cool.
Yeah, so this male will be, and once again, the males are always smaller than the females. So they actually breed better when you don't feed them too much.
Eric, did you ever think you were going to be doing all this snake stuff when you started working?
All right, now this room is
This is snake room too.
snake room 2 is the big snakes, and you'll leave the door open. See, a lot of the big snakes that are in there were in here, so they're not being out. But these are like that's a granite, a zebra granite carbon python. There's one big bow in here. My berms are down here.
It's the snake room too here. This is way more than I expected here.
This Burmese python down there, she bred last year. I got my first clutch of Burmese python babies. I'll show you those in a little bit. And these are all the boas in here. So I have paired up. Here's my
awesome.
cystic boa.
Yep.
I have yet to get her to breed. She produced a clutch of slugs this year.
Yeah, I have a blue-eyed Lucy.
Well, this is a boa.
But small, yeah.
Yeah,
My python is half the size of that.
This is a boa. So this is the leucistic boas are very rare still. This is a super fire. I have some albinos paired up. This is my IMG boa, which starts out normal, turns completely black as it gets older.
How awesome is that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And that's a moon glow bred to this. So she produced a nice clutch last year. I produced some really nice babies.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. The cool thing is when you produce an IMG, which is an increasing melanistic gene, which makes the snake get darker as it gets older.
Mm-hmm.
When you mix it into albino, since albinos have no melanin, they get purple
That's awesome.
rather than black.
Yeah, the iridescence on that is really neat.
So imagine no black. It'll look like a purplish,
Very cool.
reddish looking.
That's a really, really neat
Yeah,
snake.
yeah, those look really. I have a female. It's the same as this that she produced. It's getting darker and darker. I'll show you in the other room. She's for sale. I'm selling her, but she'll be completely black too. This is a leopard albino, a het. No one's produced a leopard albino. Excuse me, it's a leopard blood. No one's produced a leopard blood yet. Boa with the two morphs, the double recessive. So the female is a double het. The male in here is a blood het leopard. So I'm trying to produce a visual this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
I missed this. I came close with this boy, but
Where are those babies?
I'll show you this. I'll show you one of the babies. Is right here. This was one of the babies. This is a blood that's 66% het leopard. It's probably 100% het leopard. This was the nicest one. I held her back. So she's a blood, but you can see the bow tie saddles. That means she's het leopard.
That's
So
cool.
I just didn't hit the double. No one's hit it. So one guy says he hit, but I don't think he did. The coolest looking snake that I produced, which actually appears in the new Vin Russo book, the More Complete Boa Constricted.
Okay.
I actually made the book. Which
That's
is nice.
awesome.
Yeah, was the crystal that I produced. Where did I put this crystal? Is the crystal here? Oh yeah, the breeding. Look at the breeding. Look at the breeding.
That's right.
That's the blue-eyed leucistic. I didn't breeding it, but that's blue-eyed super labyrinth, and the super labyrinth produces this blue-eyed leucistic, snake. and it was the first one produced in the world.
Wow.
Yeah. So they put it in the book.
That's awesome.
Breeding it to a blood.
That's exciting.
Yeah, just to see. Produce all labyrinths that are het blood, and then this is a labyrinth, one copy. So when you produce 2 copies, you produce a white snake, which is weird.
That's an awesome snake.
Yeah. So she's the mother of that little boy in there.
Oh, that's the mother.
That's the mother. Yeah. So when you produce 2 copies of the labyrinth gene, you get that white snake.
Is the snake?
I think it's a 14. So it's what, 5 years. She produced her first litter last year.
Yeah, she's thick.
So she's nice. I'm breeding her back to the sun. So I'm gonna, if the sun, if it works, I'll have 50% will be crystals.
Oh, cool.
Because remember, you need 2 copies to make a crystal. He's definitely going to throw a labyrinth gene. She has a 50% chance of throwing a labyrinth gene, so 50% of the babies will be crystals.
That's awesome.
So I wasn't going to repeat it. I wanted to breed something else, but I'm like, you know what? Who doesn't want a fucking crystal? There's only 3 in the whole world.
How long have you been breeding these for?
Snakes? I started really buying stuff in at 14, so I really just started producing really good stuff recently. Yeah. But you know,
The past
3 years.
The past year or 2, I started seeing your stuff explode.
Yeah, that's now all the stuff that I bought initially is growing up. Here's this is a 1 copy of the fire gene. Remember the 2 copies, you get the white, black-eyed white snake. This is a fire that's 100% het for sharp albino. So what I want to try to do is produce a leucistic albino, which would be instead of a black-eyed leucistic, it would be a red-eyed leucistic.
Cool.
So I have a couple possibilities. This girl is one of them, and then this boy here. I don't like this girl rather. She's a Motley Jungle Fire diamond, but she's also IMG. So she's turned black, but not completely black because she's got enough genes to lighten her up.
That's neat.
She'll never turn completely black, but she's almost black. So no one's produced an IMG Super Fire.
That's cool.
Yeah, no one's produced an IMG Super Fire. So I wonder, think about it. What would that white snake with the black eyes there look like with the IMG gene in it?
Yeah,
I don't know.
amazing.
I don't know. I don't know if it would look any different. You know?
And you'd have the world's first.
Yeah, no one's produced that, so that's pretty cool. So that's that male's going in with her. I don't know if she's like borderline old enough.
Did you start with boas or pythons?
Ball pythons first, but it was pretty close. I only had 2, and then I bought 1 boa.
It seems like so many people are doing pythons now.
Yeah, you know, I think I find that the boa seem to be more popular. More people seem to like my boa videos because there's less people doing it.
Yeah, there's way less people doing it.
Kyle, let's come in here. Let's do a little intro with PJ, and you'll follow us around, and I'll just start, showing PJ and everything like that. And we'll put together a little Muscle Serpents Daily thing for today. Dave Palumbo here with Muscle Serpents Daily, and I got my good friend PJ Braun here from New York. I know him for about 20 years from the bodybuilding industry. He owns Blackstone Labs, and he's another reptile enthusiast. So
Absolutely.
He's here to pick up a couple of carpet pythons for me today. So I wanted to give him a little bit of a tour of the room and show him what I'm breeding and everything like that. And I think you actually got into reptiles before I did, or right around the same time.
You know, it's funny because people always say, "Oh, you always followed in Dave's footsteps. Is that why you got into the snakes?" And I said, I swear, of all the things that I've done, like Dave, I had no idea.
You just had the same interest.
We just had the same interest, yeah. So that's the funny thing about it.
Well, yeah, that's the way it works. So the cool thing is that they're at the cool stage. They're about a year and a couple months old. We could step back in the light over here, PJ, so we can get them on camera. And the great thing I love about Axanthics, and this is also 66% het snow, so it's also het albino. They have those cool gray silver eyes, and that's just what makes them really, really cool. It's like the coolest thing to like a black and white snake you could possibly get. And the good thing is that they're social. Ball pythons, that you just they kind of just roll up in a ball.
Yes.
And they don't do anything. So it's great to see like a snake that actually likes to move around a little bit.
Here's my first carpet python here from Dave Palumbo.
And then I think you got a female too. You got a 66%er. 66%. And here's the female, which you can tell the difference. That's the Axanthic, and this has got a little bit more reds in it, and so this is a 66% het Axanthic albino, or as we say, 66% het snow. The thing I like this is it's got a cool stripe down it.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
The dorsal striping and the side striping is something that they just randomly occur.
Did you start doing carpet pythons more recently?
No, I actually got into them right at the beginning too because I just thought they were the coolest looking thing.
Yeah, they are super cool.
I wanted to produce a snow, which I produced.
I love the snow. Yeah.
I produced it this year, but
that was what caught my eye.
If I did nothing, I really want to produce a moon glow. A moon glow would be the snow with a little bit more pattern removed, so it's almost like a white snake. And I think I'm working on it this year. I'm actually working a caramel into that, and if the caramel removes that little bit of pattern, I might get a white snake. So that's the goal. But these are great because they're at a good stage when they're first born. They're really small. Come over here. I'll show you like this year's clutch.
Thin too.
They're tiny. They're actually very fragile almost. And it's like you don't even want to handle them. It's like
tiny.
I mean, and this guy's doing pretty good. Look at the difference. This is a year, and they don't have their adult colors. They go through. That's a couple months old.
Yeah, I was gonna
They
say
go through an
tiny.
ontogenetic color change where they actually will get their yellow white coloring. This is an albino, obviously, and this is the ones we have here because they're over a year. They have their adult coloring already. So let's see. Let's pull out like something that you have there. Here's an axanthic, just for instance, at a couple months old, and it's starting. It's actually looking very adultish. It was, and more so than. When it's first born. This guy has been a good eater, though. Look at you see those silver eyes?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's how you can tell. The silver eyes give it away. Whoa. So, once again, big difference in a year they make. And once they start getting to this stage and they start eating, they're bulletproof. You can't do anything wrong, really, with them. There's nothing you can do to screw them up. When they're little, you can not, they don't feed a lot of times, and you have to worry about them. But when they get to this stage, they're cool. You can leave them out all day like this. They'll hang out on a perch. If you could tell, like the tail is a very long, semi prehensile tail because they're semi-arboreal. They like to climb a lot. Matter of fact, sometimes once in a while something will get out here and I'll see them up there. They like to go high and look down, and that's how they go after their prey.
How many of the carpet pythons do you have?
I probably have about 15 total with the babies. I have like 6 adults. I don't overdo the carpets because they need a little more room. And if you look at, I have display cages. I like to give them more room to climb around, whereas the ball pythons like it very small.
Yes.
The smaller the cage you give them, the better. And and the boas need more room. So you have to take that into consideration. How many of these things can you actually give big cages to? The males don't need big cages. I keep them small, but the females, they'll grow. They'll grow to these size, and I want to let them move around a little bit. So
yeah, these are cool. I'm excited to actually because I don't display, with the exception of the anaconda. I don't display any of them.
No, I know. And the good thing is, once they get to this stage, they really don't bite, except when you're feeding them. They have a food response. When I bred the boas, I bred this hypo blood het albino to an albino blood, and I produced 2 snakes. I produced 2 fire opals, which are albino blood hypos, or sun glow bloods. I actually traded one to a friend of mine in New York, and I kept the other because they were both males. I mean, that's like the holy grail of boa breeding.
Yeah, that's
the blood
awesome.
albino. This is a sharp albino blood, and it also has the hypogene, so we call it the fire opal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's about as nice as it gets.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So
man, you get some awesome stuff in here.
one more thing, I'm going to show you one more thing I think you'll find cool because I know you like black. Here's one of the babies. This girl will turn into that girl. She'll be totally black at some point.
Oh, wow.
She's been getting blacker and blacker as I...
How light was she when she was born?
She looked like a normal boa. She just had a couple of black speckles on her head, and
You
she's
can
been
see
getting
the-
darker and darker and
through the tail
darker
where it's gotten
until
darker
she's going to
and
get
darker.
totally blacked out.
That's neat.
Now, that's one, but if you look at this girl, this is the albino version of that. So she's just getting more contrast.
Oh, wow.
You see the
Yep.
purples coming in?
That's cool.
Because she has no melanin. She has no pigment in her. So, they don't like each other. They don't like each other. A little jealousy there. It's like my kids. So that's kind of cool. And then if you like black snakes and you don't want to wait for them to get dark, we produce something known as an eclipse boa. An eclipse boa is a leopard motley.
That's neat.
And they come out like kind of black right out of the gate.
Look at
with a little
that.
bit of striping in them, and these are also 100% het albino. So that's a pretty cool boa.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Because it's solid patternless boa.
Yep.
And it's just mixing that motley gene and the leopard gene. So it's the visual recessive leopard mixed with the motley, and you get a solid snake. I've noticed, you guys really stuck by Cody Montgomery, and
We
did
did.
great.
We did. Very happy. He's extremely hard on himself. So I was very pleased with 4th place. He said, I hope I didn't let you down. I tried as hard as I could. And I said, listen, Cedric McMillan, Juan Morel, Regan Grimes, for you to come in fourth in that lineup, I'm very, very happy. After all this time of him, you know, competing and not competing for a while, this was a very good turnout.
He just got a lot of good bodybuilders. If you're into the bodybuilding industry, check out his page. For now, though, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, hit the like button, and guess what? We're going to be back tomorrow morning.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming, man. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Good luck with that
trial.
Thank you so much.
Keep me updated, man.